The Sega Genesis Mini 2 is set to launch October 27th of this year, right around the corner. It's supposed to have 50 plus games, and I'm really excited for this thing. And today we did get a little bit of an update. News has been trickling in little by little as far as game lists and stuff like that. Now, as far as the North American version here, I'm not sure if they've updated the list yet, but we will take a look in a moment. But the Mega Drive Mini 2, they have been announcing the games in sets of 11 for a little while now, and today they just announced the next set of 11 games, and I wanted to go over that, take a look at what they've announced. Maybe some of this could be a hint as to what we might be expecting for the North American version, but I wouldn't expect everything, you know what I mean? It does seem like both versions is going to have a bit of a different list of games, maybe some overlap. There are things on the Mega Drive 2 that I could definitely see being on the North American version, and I really hope comes to it, but I wanted to take a quick look at these next 11 games, and yeah, that's where we're at. I'm excited for this thing, and I know a lot of people, you know, I get comments all the time like, who cares about this kind of stuff? You can emulate for free, you could run this stuff on FPGA hardware, stuff like that, and I get it. If you followed my channel for a long time, I've supported all that. My channel started with emulation. I still cover that stuff all the time as far as like, hey, you could just go grab this stuff for free type of thing. But when it comes to like official products like this, you know, I'm not like, oh, you got to consume everything, but it makes me happy. I get excited over this stuff. It's revisiting that era, you know, retro games, the classics, and it feels good, man. Like, you don't have to buy everything. But for me, I love this stuff. It kind of, you know, it brings more availability and access to people who wouldn't want to go about it different ways. And it's just kind of cool having a little, you know, hardware, especially the Sega Genesis. I never owned one growing up, but I had a lot of exposure to it as I had friends who had the Sega Genesis, and I played it all the damn time. But okay, let's move on to the actual games they just announced. And like I was just saying, to each their own. Like, there's no right or wrong answers how you want to play your games, your retro games or whatever. My stance is as long as you're happy and having fun, who gives a shit? You know what I'm saying? I'm happy and excited for this thing. That's what matters to me, and I like sharing that excitement with those of you who care as well to a certain degree, right? But here we go. The next set of recorded titles. Echo the Dolphin CD. I don't remember ever playing this one. I remember playing the one on the Genesis, but here you go. They have the release date. This came out in 1995, February 24th. Very cool. An action-adventure where you become Echo the Dolphin, swim across the ocean, now available in a CD version with more gorgeous visuals and music. Includes 2 series, Echo the Dolphin and the sequel, Echo 2. Oh, so it's like a collection. Like, is it upgraded from the originals? Is that what it is? I'm honestly not like in the know on the Echo the Dolphin CD game, but I could see this one coming to the U.S. Look at that killer whale down there about to eat that liver from that shark. Keep seeing these news stories about killer whales eating like great white sharks' livers and just tearing them up, man. Great whites are the scourge of the sea. They're the king of the ocean jungle, man. Leave them alone. And then we got Romance of the Three Kingdoms 3, right? I liked some of these games back in the day. I don't know if, was this one released in the U.S. or not? I'm not sure. But November 8th, 1992. I always liked, stuff like this, but yeah, historical simulation series set in China during the Three Kingdoms period. Player becomes a monarch and conducts domestic affairs, diplomacy, and battles, right? Okay. Now, you got to remember, if you buy the Japanese version of this, a lot of these games, they're not going to have English options, you know, very text-heavy games. If you want the U.S. version, which I don't know if we know much of what's going to be on it quite yet. We'll double back to that in a second. But that one's supposed to be like 1/10 of the production run of the first one that came out. So link down below if you want to pre-order that thing. Then we got Tenka Fubu. Fubu, Roar of Heroes. What is this one? Looks similar to the other game. A historical simulation. Okay, we're getting a lot of historical simulation games here. Interesting. This game came out in 91. Definitely looks very similar to, Romance of the Three Kingdoms. What's next? Okay, so there's that 3. Denon Arrestor. Released 1992. Compile. Oh, this is a Robo Aleste. Okay, very cool. We might get this one in the U.S. version then, right? So, a unique robot shooter set in Warring States period where demons dance. Become a ninja under Oda Nobunaga and board an iron-armored Arresta called Denon. Google Translate kind of makes some of this a little funky, but that's very cool. Okay. Shin Megami Tensei. What? All right. Some classic action going here. The stage is Tokyo in 1990X. What? Nice. Man, I'm really hoping that list for the US version is like populated like all hell. Then we got Game Ground. Did I say Game Ground? Game Ground. Mega Drive game. So we're getting a nice little, it almost looks like half and half. CD and cartridge games. Tactical action shooter where 20 friends fight together at a futuristic leisure facility, fight against robot soldiers from 5 eras to stop a runaway computer. If you rescue the trapped people, they'll become your friends. 2-player co-op. That looks interesting. Nice. I mean, I know this game, but yeah. That's an interesting one. I know Game Ground. What am I talking about? Sorcerian. This game came out in 1990. It looks a little like Zelda 2, but not really. You know, if you get this and you don't know Japanese, you can always, bust out your phone and be like, oh, Google Translate. I do that every once in a while with certain games. Like my son, he got Yokai Watch 3 for the Switch, and he played through it using Google Translate. He is a big fan of that series. Action RPG with 10 scenarios. Create a party up to 4 people with magic by combining 7 stars and detailed player creation system. Embark on adventure. Okay. Phantasy Star 2 at the end of the time of no return. Classic games. I really wish Phantasy Star would make a return in the traditional sense of role-playing games, but we got Phantasy Star Online. There we go. Very cool. And then what is this one? Combat King Colossus. The frick is this? Is this an action role-playing game too? Came out June 26, 92. An action RPG, yeah. By Makoto Ogino, author of the manga, The Mangoes, Peacock King. Okay, I'm not familiar with that one. I'm sure some of you guys are. But yeah, that's another action RPG. We're getting loaded up with action RPGs on this one. Oh, Populous! Oh, I hope this is on the US version. I know people think this game is boring, but you play as like a god and like get your people built up. Like I love this stuff, man. I had the Super Nintendo version. I still do. I would sit there for hours on end just playing Populous, man. Like terraforming, getting, oh man, and just having good and evil, like boom, Armageddon, let's go. It's a simulation that aims to become a god and aim for the prosperity of the race that worships God. This is all Google Translate, so some things are going to be kind of wonky here. Armageddon awaits at the end. Yes. I love Populous. I really do. And then Viewpoint. Okay. I know Viewpoint. So wait a minute. It says the release date October 27th of this year, and that's what they put when it's a new game, right? Now, I'm pretty sure Viewpoint, I have to double check, but I'm pretty sure Viewpoint released on the Sega Genesis back in the day. I know it was a Neo Geo game. Maybe it didn't release for the Mega Drive in Japan for some reason, even though it was a Sammy game. I don't know. That's kind of interesting. But yeah, it's a shooter set in a simulated 3D space. So, okay, either it's a new version or it was never released in Japan before. I'm not 100%. Let me know down below. But okay, was that the last one? Pretty sure it was. Yeah, so here's the rest of the list that's already been announced. Really hoping that the Lunar games come to the US version. Like, just give me that and I'll be happy. You know what I mean? But we've talked about all these games. I'm not going to go back through everything, but I do want to jump back to the US version website and see if anything's been updated yet. But there we go, Popple Mail. Man, there's a lot of cool games on here. But okay, the US version. So here's the US site, which is actually hosted on the Sega Japan site. Let me refresh just in case. Got to double check. Let's go to included titles. No, doesn't look like they have updated the list yet, man. Get those Lunar games on here. Get a few of the ones that they just announced on here. But yeah, so far, the list is looking good. The list in the Japanese version is looking pretty sweet. I'm hoping this one kind of fills out as well. If they update this, we'll do a follow-up. Hoping they update this soon, because they've announced way more on the Japanese version than on this. You know, over 50 classics on both of them. And we're getting toward the end on the Japanese version, knowing everything that's going to be included. And they both released the same day. Okay, and I know a lot of people are like, oh, just hack my original Genesis Mini, and that's fine. Not to go back to the earlier conversation, but the one thing to point out is, and we've talked about this, is Sega has said that the board being used for this device, the new one, is more powerful than the previous one. So maybe that opens up some potential as far as the hacking, modding scene. I don't know. Don't 100% know all the specs, but yeah, it's supposed to be more powerful, that kind of thing. I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. Let me know what you guys think. Really do appreciate you guys watching and hanging out with me today. Catch you on the next one. Bye.